Reading 69 from the Psychological Commentaries on the Teachings of Gurdjieff and Ouspensky by Dr. Maurice Nicoll, Volume 1. Birdlet, March 15, 1943. Internal Considering and External Considering. 4. When you feel that someone has not behaved rightly to you, you feel that you have not been estimated at your proper value. For example, to feel insulted is to feel that you are not estimated at your proper value. So people often say, when insulted, "Do you know who I am?" or something like that. They mean that they have a certain valuation of themselves. So they say, "Do you know who I am?" Meaning that if the other person did know, he would not dare to behave as he does. Of course, if you have little or no picture of yourself as being valuable, you will not be so easily upset. A high estimate of yourself naturally will make it more easy for you to feel that others do not estimate you at your proper value. So you will internally consider more easily. A person may even be so preoccupied with the question of others treating him rightly and with suspicions about whether others are laughing at him, that his whole life may be said to be involved in internal considering. Or again, some persons may value themselves above others because of sufferings. People cling to their own suffering and come to regard themselves as worthy of special evaluation because they have had all kinds of hardships, miseries, and sufferings. They are offended if another person begins to talk of his own suffering. They feel that the other person does not consider them enough and that he is selfish. It is difficult for them to realize that other people also have sufferings. Nor do they realize that to see selfishness in others is to see the reflection of one's own selfishness. For the more requirements you make from others, the more selfish will others appear to you. What is it that causes us to begin to internally consider? Let us ask the question. At what point or where do you start making accounts? You start when you feel you are not estimated aright, when you feel you are undervalued. The waiter does not come when called. The shop assistant serves another person first. Perhaps people do not look at you enough in the street, or let us say pay sufficient attention in general. Or one person seems persistently to ignore you. Or perhaps you hear what someone said of you. That is nearly always unpleasant. There are 1,001 possible examples, less and more serious. Small incidents upset us easily. The waiter, the shop assistant. These form short accounts and may eventually become a habit. But we have all sorts of long-standing accounts against others, some of them stored up in the past. Unfortunately, for ourselves. They all begin with this mysterious question of one's own evaluation of oneself. A person with some self-observation might well exclaim, "What is this thing in me that is offended at this moment and has already begun to make accounts? Look, I can observe it at work, in me, collecting materials and beginning to remember unpleasant things and to find words and phrases to use against the other person so as to make him feel that he has underestimated me. In fact, to make him realize he is so much dirt. It is a picture of myself? Is it imaginary I? Is it false personality? Or what is it that is at the bottom of it all?" The answer is that what is at the bottom of it all is where you identify with yourself. All forms of internal considering, of which making accounts against another person is one form, belong to identifying. The work says that we must study identifying down to its very roots. A man is only offended where he is identified with himself. And the work also says that the study of identifying must begin with the study of where you are identified with yourself. It is here that you can be upset, hurt, offended, insulted. the being identified with oneself comes first. Being upset and offended comes second. Making inner accounts comes third.